Hello everyone. I wanted to do this video and oh my God, I like really goofed up here. I saw this post, Sandra, that you did it. I thought it was in my group and it wasn't. So, but I'm happy to do the video over here. I don't want to hijack another group but I was like, whoa. So, anyway, similar names. So, hey, Sandra. So a couple things. I'm reading your post and I realized that was over in the other, the Tapping Solution group, and I thought it was my group. So I have to do the video here. So there were great suggestions for you there. So, but here's the couple things, and I want to read what you wrote. My chronic insomnia is killing me and I don't know what to do anymore. I need help. Is there anything that anyone would suggest, like any particular tapping script? My mind is constantly going. I believe that's one of the problems why I can't sleep. I can't stop my mind from going. What can I do to stop that? And what I want to say is, so, and Sandra, you can write in here and I can see it if you want. So just a little bit more information. Because I used to have this. So a couple things that I can tell you, and this is a very practical, pragmatic thing. And I knew nothing about this until I moved into this house. Because the house that I moved out of, I would wake up I would always fall asleep, but I would wake up like that. So one thing is, if you've ever heard of dirty electric, so what it is you're going to hear all kinds of stuff about it. I'm very pragmatic about it. So you'll hear people that I would say, like, they go off, in my view, kind of like, woo, they're going to a place that doesn't make sense to me. What it is it's fluctuations in energy throughout. Think about this, the electrical system in our house. And what I've done in my house pragmatically is I don't use LED lights anymore. I've gone back to incandescent bulbs. I have Wi-Fi, but I have what's called an EMF blocker. So I'm just giving you practical stuff. I have one here in my office because I'm getting rid of Wi-Fi. For me, it just doesn't make sense. And so what happens is there's fluctuations in energy. And I literally spent a number of years in my old house. And the other thing is we were right next to a power line. And I just didn't put it together. My husband kept going, what's on your mind? And I would wake up and I'm like, but racing thoughts is something else I want to address. So on a practical side, some simple things you can do is, if you can still find incandescent bulbs, unless you're doing that, I would recommend every single light fixture in my house now, I've gone back to incandescent bulbs. And I just have a couple little things. I used to sleep with my cell phone next to me as my alarm clock. I don't do that. And it's out of the room. So simple little things. If there's anything like that can actually just support you in the fluctuations in the electrical system in our house. So that's just some pragmatic stuff. And that really made a difference for me, like really made a difference. And so just little things like that. And again, if you want, I can share with you a YouTube that I found from an engineer that I really like that explains dirty electric. And he explains it in such a practical, pragmatic way. He's not going off the deep end, which I've seen some people go off the deep end about it, and I'm like, okay, no. So I'll happily share that with you. Just let me know. But the other thing, the racing thoughts, and you said this has been going on for a while. So not knowing what your racing thoughts are, the first piece that I see is, one is it's not safe to relax. It's not safe to let go. It's not safe to feel safe, and see if that lands for you. But for the other thing, Sandra, is if there's any judgment of self, because that's what I was doing. I would because when we're lacking sleep, it puts us behind the 8 ball to begin with. And then I realized I just always go to the judgment of self, like, what the hell's wrong with me? Why can't I sleep? And what's going on? And when I go back to the recent time that was happening, there wasn't any huge upsets in my life that were going on. That's why I was like, this isn't about me because of my racing thoughts. But I did have that 11 years ago when my husband and I were going through our financial debacle. I would fall asleep, but I would wake up in terror. And this is what was really stinging me, is I kept thinking I had to stop my thoughts. And I was putting so much pressure on myself. And then I was going into self-judgment of, oh my God, I don't know how to stop these thoughts. I mean, I know these thoughts aren't serving me, and I know I'm spiraling out of control, and I know I'm circling the drain, and that's not helping me. Oh, where can I get an EMF blocker? Well, you can always look on Amazon, and the other place, I'll send you the link, because I don't, hang on. And I'll send it to you. It's helped me so much. Again, my cell phone's out of my room now. If it's in my room, I have it in what's called a Faraday case. But I usually just keep it out of the room. You can find one on Amazon, but I'm going to send you a link to the one that I got. And then it's a different company, and you can look into it and just see if it makes sense to you. So, that's great. You don't sleep with your phone next to me. That's why I hate to do the meditation on my phone when I'm in bed. Yes, it sounds familiar. It's interesting. I'm interested in the video, and I'll send you the video of that electrician, because he just explains it so like, oh, that makes sense. There's fluctuations in energy in the electrical system in our house and how to regulate those. So I'll just send you some information on that. I can message it to you or whatever. But the racing thoughts is the thing. So, and not knowing what your racing thoughts is, do you find, Sandra, that you kind of like get mad at yourself, or like, what's wrong with me? Why can't I stop these racing thoughts? Is there any judgment of self that's potentially going on around you? Like, because it's like doubling down on us. So if you want to share any of that, you can, but let's just start tapping. Karate chop. Even though this insomnia is killing me, it's killing me. It's become its own entity. Oh, thank you, Sandra, that's it. And I'm totally judging myself for this. Constantly judging myself. There's clearly something wrong with me that I can't stop this. I choose to acknowledge I feel this way now. Even though I'm even praying to be delivered from this. And that doesn't seem to be helping. What if it's possible the reason it's not helping is not because I'm being punished in any way? What if I'm meant to get in touch with this epic self-judgment that's ruled me? And just go to the eyebrow. What if this problem that's been chronic has actually brought me to this point right here and now, that I'm being guided and directed to really see how constantly I judge myself. And what if the guidance and direction is coming to help me soften that judgment? to send some acceptance and maybe even some loving kindness to that part of me that gets judged so harshly. Oh, what's wrong with you? You can't sleep. You're not even being delivered through prayer. What if that's that bully in my brain that's activated, that's just pummeling me? And what if I'm meant to see that and start to recognize that voice that's always trying to parachute in and take me out, hijack my peace? And it says the meanest things to me. You can't even sleep properly. Prayer's not even helping you. What's wrong with you? Oh, there it is. The judge and jury on myself. No, not now. You don't get to hijack me. And what if by recognizing that part of me, that bully in my brain, what if I start to separate from it? I start to recognize that's what's activated in me. And through this separation, I start to soothe my nervous system, calm my entire energy system. And I can actually start to drift off to sleep in peace. That bully in my brain just runs my show in the middle of the night. What if what's being revealed to me is just how constantly I've judged myself? And what if I'm being guided to this moment? Because I'm not meant to live this way. Being so harsh and mean to myself. And what if by starting to recognize that voice that's there all the time, it runs me less? And through my separation of it, I find more peace within. And those racing thoughts start to simmer down. And I find relief from the internal battle that goes on all night long. And little by little, I feel more soothed. And I stop judging myself so harshly. And my nervous system comes out of fight or flight. No wonder I can't sleep. And as I soothe that self-judgment, my nervous system calms down. And sleep comes into my experience with a lot more ease. So take a breath. So Sandra, thanks for that. This is sort of the tip of the iceberg, because that's exactly what I was doing, and I just didn't realize it like 11 years ago. I would lay in bed at night, go to sleep, and I'd wake up, and it was this battle that was going on inside of me. There was no way I was going to be able to sleep, because then my nervous system was going into fight, flight, freeze, and activated more fight and then fear, and like, oh God. And my self-talk, when I started to pay attention to it, I literally was like, oh my God, that is a cesspool of negative thinking that's going on up in here. And I love the way that Eckhart Tolle talks about watching the thinker. When we start to separate and go, oh, that's why I had to make it easy for myself, because I can complicate a freaking potato chip. I was like, okay, when I have that strong emotional charge, like, that's my kid, that's my inner kid, but this voice is the bully in my brain, and it's that, you'll never make it. And those two, I find, just the bully beats up on our inner child. And I swear, I believe this is the keys to the city. And all the sessions I've done with people is to catch the judgment, to go, oh my gosh, there it is, judging myself. That's what was happening for me all night long, just churning and oh my God, I've got to stop these thoughts, and it's just going to make it worse, but I couldn't stop them. And the other key is, my recommendation, Sandra, is when you're now like moving forward, as you, even before you go to bed, as you're getting ready for bed, just start to pay attention, if you haven't already. What are the thoughts that I'm having about sleeping? Oh God, it's going to elude me, and this and that. And this voice can also sound, which you know, oh, it made me cry. You described it so perfectly. How can I save this tapping? So I'm going to put this, I'll put it in announcements, and then it'll be in announcements in this group. And I'll download this as long as you're comfortable, because your name is in here. Your last name's not in here. I can put it on YouTube, on my YouTube channel. So just message me and let me know if you're comfortable. I'll load it to YouTube, so it's there as well. And then it'll be here under announcements. So in the group, if you go to the announcements tab. So if you want it on YouTube, let me know that. And I'm happy to respect your privacy and not put it on there. But yeah, it's the judgment of self that, and I grew up, you know, I just grew up with such punishment. In the religion that I grew up in, it was just constant punishment, everything that's wrong. So it made sense that when I found kind of a lot of the law of attraction stuff, it actually has a similar pattern to it. Well, it's your fault if, you know, you're attracting this, you're not thinking about this right. You're, you know, if you're obviously something's going on here and it's your fault. I was like, oh my God, I was just recreating the monster of my childhood. So if it made you cry, that's a really good sign. And that's what I would say is, when you're lying there at night and you wake up, notice that voice is going to creep in. See, Sandra, you can't even get yourself to sleep. Like, what's wrong with you? And then you start to catch it and go, I personally, because mine is so demonic, I personally have to go, I have to tell it, F off, get out of there. It works for me to do that. It's like I'm silencing the Punisher. I'm taking charge over the Punisher instead of the Punisher just it's in this. Again, this voice can sound so reasonable. Really, I mean, come on, what's it going to take? I mean, you know, take some sleeping pills or do something else, and all that can support you depending on what it is. But it's like, oh, you know that this voice is activated by how you feel, and if you're not feeling good, no matter how reasonable this voice sounds, I guarantee you it's the bully in your brain. So, okay, great. I'll put it on YouTube as well, and then you'll find it on there. And then you're tagged on this, so as soon as I'm done with this, it's going to load into this Facebook page, and then I'll mark it, pin it to announcements. And I'm probably going to take some of the other videos out of there, but it'll be on YouTube as well. So Sandra, thank you for the topic. And that's great. And keep me posted and let me know how it goes. And if something else comes up, you know, we can do a little video on that as well. And Yasmin, great. Did I say yes, Yasmin? Hopefully I said your name right. I love that name. That's beautiful. And I can't tell who else is here, but great topic, Sandra. And thanks for being willing to be so vulnerable. And yeah, I think it's going to help a lot of people. All right. Bye for now.